Hi, everyone, and welcome. I'm Kathy Luker, a CPA and owner of Blue Harbor Consulting. Most weeks, I go live to give HVAC and construction business owners tools to improve profits and grow their businesses with confidence. Today's topic is one that hits home for a lot of contractors I talk to: time and material contracts, or T&M. Now, most owners tell me we bill every hour and every part, so there's no way we're losing money. But here's the truth: when your business grows past 10 or 15 million, you can still be busy billing and breaking even, all at the same time. T&M contracts give this false sense of security or false sense of safety. You think we're protected because the customer pays for whatever T&M it takes. But unless you're actively tracking job profitability, labor utilization, and overhead recovery, your margins are quietly slipping. So today I want to walk through why T&M contracts can quietly erode profits even in large established companies. What's really causing the leaks, both in the field and in management, and what your leadership team can do to turn T&M into a true profit driver again. Let's start with the comfort zone. T&M feels easy. It keeps crews working, keeps cash flowing, and you don't have to argue over change orders. But what happens over time is this: you start measuring success by activity, not profitability. Revenue looks strong. Invoices go out daily, weekly, or bi-monthly. But when you review your monthly or quarterly P&L, margins are down a few points, and no one can explain why. At this scale, that 2 or 3 point drop could mean hundreds of thousands of dollars in lost profit. It's not that the work is unprofitable. It's that the business isn't capturing the whole cost of doing work. Let's break the illusion down. T&M means you charge for labor and materials, but it does not mean you're recovering drive time between jobs, setup and cleanup, supervisory hours, or even admin support that makes the work possible. Those are all real expenses sitting in your payroll and overhead accounts, but if they're not built into your billing rates, you're slowly bleeding profit. For example, one company I worked with billed out their techs at $125 an hour. But once we added wages, payroll taxes, benefits, truck tools, and overhead admin time, their true hourly cost was $118. That means their gross margin was only $7 an hour, and that's before accounting for unbilled time or material slippage. They were doing almost $12 million a year and making less than 4% profit. That's what I mean when I say being busy doesn't mean you're profitable. I worked with a 16 million mechanical contractor who was convinced all their T&M work was solid. Every hour billed, every PO tracked. But when we pulled a true job-by-job profitability report, here's what we found. Labor efficiency was 68%. That means 32% of payroll hours never hit the job. Material markups varied by project manager. Some were 20%, some 40%. Overhead wasn't allocated at all. They simply billed labor times a rate. And the service division was subsidizing the construction division without even realizing it. Once we standardized labor burden rates, aligned markups, and implemented weekly job cost variance tracking, their margin recovered $1.2 million in 6 months without changing clients, prices, or staff. The difference was visibility. They stopped the leaking from inefficiencies and misallocations. Here are the 5 biggest gaps I see in larger T&M operations. Number 1 is untracked time. Payroll hours don't match billed hours, and no one's reconciling the two. Number 2 is material leakage. Items bought for one job pulled to another and never billed correctly. Number 3 is inconsistent markup. PMs adjust markup based on the client relationship, and margins disappear. Number 4 is lack of job cost reconciliation. Jobs close before true cost and revenue are matched. And number 5, no overhead recovery model. Burden labor rates aren't updated, so you're using last year's cost with this year's inflation. And here's the big one, at 10 million or more in revenue, these problems aren't single mistakes. They're systemic. They show up in every division, every week, and leadership doesn't see them until after the month or quarter closes. So let's talk about solutions, and this is where financial discipline makes all the difference. Step one is build burden labor rates, include taxes, benefits, trucks, supervision, all overhead, and a portion of G&A. Update it twice a year. Enforce consistent markups. Establish a company-wide rate schedule. Don't let individual PMs set markups based on field. Step three is integrate job costing and accounting. Your field data should flow straight into your financials. No manual spreadsheets, no lag. Systems like ServiceTitan, Buildertrend, and Vista can all handle this if they're configured correctly. Step four is create a weekly margin dashboard. Your controller or CFO should publish a one-page snapshot, labor utilization, gross margin by job, and open job WIP adjustments. Now, I realize many companies don't track WIP on T&M contracts. However, there's often a timing lag between invoicing and payroll, materials, and subcost. So if you don't want to track WIP, perhaps adjust the dashboard dates to coincide with invoicing dates, so your costs are fairly aligned with revenue. Step five is hold closeout reviews. Every major job should have a post-completion review to discuss what went right, what slipped, and where the margin leaked. The companies that build this rhythm turn T&M from a reactive billing method into a predictable profit engine. At this level, margin management has to live in the CFO or controller's office. Their job isn't just reporting results, it's driving visibility. They should own your burdened labor model, your markup schedule, and the bridge between operations and accounting. When finance leads the conversation, not just tracks it, your field teams finally understand what profitable really means. So here's your challenge for this week. Pull the last 5 T&M jobs from each division. Compare what you build versus your true cost of labor, materials, and overhead. If you can't see those numbers quickly, that's your red flag. At this size, lack of visibility is what costs you margin, not lack of work. This is exactly what we help our clients fix at Blue Harbor Consulting, building the financial clarity that turns T&M from busy work into profitable growth. If you'd like to see what that could look like for your company, you can schedule a free strategy call. I'll drop the link in the comments. We're going to start another Facebook Live event series next week. I'll post a schedule and topics on my Facebook and LinkedIn pages in the next few days. Thanks for joining me today. I really hope this helps you rethink how T&M impacts your bottom line. See you next week, same time, same place.